Hello and welcome to another episode of Boat in the Bongerd. My name is Frans and I am building an Iain Oughtred Guillemot traditional dinghy. This episode is all about making the skeg. In this picture, blue colored part of the construction plan pictures the skeg. From it, the dimensions were taken to make a simple sketch. The sketch info was used to cut out a plywood sheet big enough to create a template for making the skeg. String was laid against the centerline of the keel from transom to stem. A template with markings of the width and the center of the skeg was used to mark the correct positions of the skeg. The garboards had to be planed at some point to be in line and level with the keelson. After which the centerline string and some skeg with markings had to be applied again. The plywood sheet was clamped against a batten placed along the transom centerline, making sure the sheet was leveled horizontal. Then the curvature of the keelson was copied upon the sheet. Jigsaw and plane were used to make the template. Having checked the form of the template being correct, the template was laid upon a mahogany board. Pencil lines were drawn along the template so the skeg form could be roughly cut out of the board. Time to glue the two boards together after having first cleaned and degreased the glue pot surfaces using St. Mark. A layer of clear epoxy was applied to the dried up surfaces. Followed by thickened epoxy applied to just one side. After the epoxy had cured for one night, the applied weights were removed. Working in a small garage, bicycles have to be taken outside to create space for the bandsaw and router table. On the bandsaw, the form of the skeg was sawn just outside the pencil lines. Two-sided tape was applied to the skeg template. Which was laid upon the mahogany. On the router table, the curvature of the skeg was cut. The bottom side of the skeg was planed straight. Upper and lower width of the skeg were marked and cuttings were made in the side of the skeg deep enough to touch the width lines at both top and bottom. The mahogany was planed using the cuttings to indicate the correct depth. As soon as the cutting disappeared, I knew I had removed the right amount of material. The skeg was dry fitted. According to the construction plan, the skeg had to be attached to the keelson using 6 screws, 3 from the bottom side and 3 from the inside of the boat. I decided to remove station mold number 7 to provide me with a bit more working space under the upside down hull. Before removing the mold, all station mold positions were marked on the inside of the hull. The skeg was dry fitted in the correct position before drilling the screw holes. A counterweight construction prevented the skeg to be pushed upwards while drilling the screw holes from the inside of the hull. Building a boat makes going to the gym unnecessary, although I've seen better days physically. Removing the screws after dry fit proved one of them had broken in two. The drilled hole had to be deeper. Like previous times, gluing was performed by applying a layer of clear epoxy first on all surfaces to be glued. Followed by a layer of thickened epoxy on one surface. The skeg was carefully placed in position and screwed against the keelson. Clamps, tools and squeezed out epoxy were removed before letting the epoxy cure for one night. To fill the screw holes on top of the screws, I made some dowels out of mahogany. Next day, the fairing between the garbuds and the skeg was made using a layer of clear epoxy, followed by thickened epoxy. Clear and thickened epoxy were also used to glue the dowels into the screw holes. The epoxy fairing also filled up the holes left behind by removing some bronze nails before planing the garboards. Next day the dowels were cut flush to the skeg. The skeg edges were sanded round. And the fairing sanded, which took 2 hours. Now a few days later I'm still pleased with the results. And my shoulders and arms are feeling normal again. So that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed watching it and see you next time.